So it wasn't too eventful today for Palantir stock, guys. It actually pretty much broke even on the day, went up a whopping penny, up 0.05%, and it closed at $19.95. And with that being said, even though it broke even, it was actually pretty volatile across the day. Very volatile at that, guys. We ended up going to $20.39 in the pre-market. That was at about 8:30 a.m., and we then pulled back down to about $19.75 by the time the markets opened. So that was a drop of 3.2%. Then we recovered that entire loss right back up to $20.30. Then we ended up pretty aggressively selling off to $19.60, which was a down move of 4%, then to only rally into close, which is what we saw over the course of the last hour and a half. I'm currently making this video at about 4:05 p.m., so the markets just ended up closing. So let's break down Palantir, guys, and maybe some other stocks later in the video here that I'm looking at. We're going to go over my thoughts, key levels. So if you all find value, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe here on YouTube. It's free, and it also helps me out overall in the algorithm. And guys, do not forget to follow me on X. Very important. I'm getting way more active on there at Stocks Talk Stocks. Use that link down below. And with that being said, cheers. Let's dive right into the video. So pretty decent day across the board today for the stock market. We had the Russell up, NASDAQ barely up, but it did go up a little bit as the S&P and the Dow each went up as well. And again, a lot of volatility across the board when it comes to Palantir stock. We talked about the movement across the day, and on the 5-day chart, you guys can see we're still well in an uptrend, even though we had a lot of choppiness today, and we almost did break the lows from yesterday. We almost did, but we didn't, which is actually good for the bulls in the short term, because if we did confirm a break under, let's say, 1950 to 1975, that could trigger a sell-off. We'll talk about this in a second. Maybe down, back towards the $18.50 range. Again, we'll talk about that here in a second. So on the 10-day chart, you can see still on an uptrend. We're above the moving averages. We have a golden cross. This stock's up a whopping, let's see, from $14.50 to now $19.95. It is up 36% in just the past 2 weeks, which is nuts, guys. Massive move for Palantir. And here on the 20-day chart, you can see how extended it is as well. And one thing worth mentioning is we do have a bit of a descending, or not a descending, but a bearish divergence here. You guys can see the RSI at the bottom weakening. You guys notice that, but it's obviously making higher highs, higher lows. So that could be signaling a sell-off in the future. Not necessarily a massive sell-off, but maybe a move down towards, 18, 1830, 1850, which is right by the 180 SMA here on the 1-hour chart. And here on the 4-hour chart, if I draw a couple lines out, you'll be able to see some of these key levels that I'm looking at. Obviously, we have $20.25. We cover that all the time. That is roughly the high from back in August, which, by the way, we broke out of that barely by 15 cents, but still we broke out of that, which is good. So that's a key spot. Another one here is right around, you'll see it right here, $19, which if I draw that out, boom, $19. And another one is about at $18, and 50 cents. So if we do end up, which it looks like right now we are selling off a bit at $20, $20.50. If we do continue this little sell-off, little pullback, whatever you want to call it, this is where we could get to that $18.50 range that I told you guys before, right? We can see an initial move down maybe to $19, which was the high from back in just a couple of days ago, about a week ago, also from a couple months ago. That could be the first gap that fills to the downside, $19. Then if that were to break, maybe we go down to $18.50, $18.40, $18.45 range, which is, again, the high from the middle of October, also from the middle of July. So to be honest, for the health of the technicals, I think it might not be a bad idea for this thing, or a bad idea like it's listening to this video. But I don't think it'll be bad for it to pull back a little bit before ultimately ripping towards 21, 22, and maybe start, moving higher from that point. Because to be honest, we are a bit stretched right now in the short term. Not to say it needs to crash or anything like that. All I'm saying is we might be in need for a little bit of a healthy pullback. That's what I think, at least. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments down below. But overall today, it did have a 1 cent green day. So round of applause to that. 1 cent green day, which you can't beat that, guys. Not too bad, right? So let me run through some other tickers that I'm looking at here. I think I was looking at Nike stock earlier. This one's pretty interesting. We do have a bit of, let's see here. It looks like it's continuing the uptrend. We are getting a lot of buying at about the 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. And today it had a 2% green day. It outpaced the entire stock market. And at this point, it looks like we are approaching a big level of resistance at about, let's see, where is that? 110 to about 111. Now the stock's at 108. If that's able to break 110, 111, 115 could be the next gap to fill, which is where my alert's at. If that were to break, it could be going up even higher. So Nike NKE is definitely starting to reverse. Again, today it went up 2%. Pretty good day. We have Shopify continuing its movement. Today it went up about 3.5%. And let me tell you guys, let me be honest, let me be blunt. This is pretty overbought right now. But it continues to go, and I think it's going to, I don't want to say crash, but I think it will see a sharp pullback, so be ready for that. Not for sure guaranteed, obviously. I'm not a genie here, guys, where I could tell the future, but all I can say is, from my experience, when you see stocks like that, whose chart is literally like a rocket ship over the past week or two, if you're not already in it, you should not just try and FOMO into it, in my opinion, especially if it's this stretched as a short-term trade, obviously, that is. I'm looking at it as a trade, which, if you're not already in it, selling, locking in profits right now, no need to FOMO, in my opinion. But I'm watching it. SHOP, Shopify. Let's see what else here, guys. Netflix ended up doing pretty well. And mind you, a lot of stocks did fairly well today. Netflix is now officially above the highs from, it looks like here, the beginning of September. Let me draw this out and show you all this level right here. Boom. Right at about 450. We broke out of that today. Actually, the stock went up 3%, $13. So today alone, Netflix broke out of that point. So now we're actually officially at a multi-month high on Netflix stock, and it could be shooting up towards that's not the all-time high, obviously, but this is the high on the 4-hour chart here from the middle of July, being about 495, 480. That is where 480, 485, 490, 95. That's where this could be going. That is the range that it's now trading in. As you guys can see, boom. Let me show you that. Look at that here on Netflix. So watch out for that. NFLX. Anything else here, guys? Up. Let's see. Intel did pretty well today, right? Yeah, 3%. Now, this is actually getting a bit stretched as well. If I clear the drawing set and draw out a new channel, you guys can see that Intel is actually at the top of this channel pretty much now, which is, it's pretty obvious, right? So keep your eyes on that. Maybe a little pullback could open up an opportunity on Intel. And I guess pretty much, guys, that's it. I don't want to stretch this video out too long. Wanted it to be quick, straight to the point. So with that being said, if y'all found value, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe here on YouTube. It's free. Follow me on X too. Why not? At Stas Talk Stocks. Link down below. And don't forget to get your free stocks from Moomoo with a $100 deposit. You get 5 stocks, each up to $2,000. And on top of that, you get a free share of SoFi stock, which that part of the promo is limited time, and fund your account at least $1,000. On top of those 6 stocks, you get 10 more stocks, each of those being valued up to $2,000 as well. So get on it, guys. Use that link down below. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you all later.